Mr. A here, saying, how y'all doing?
Yo! Are you ready to rumble? Or should I say tumble? Cause I don't stumble or fumble like a Gregor Brian combo. Standing on the ground, flat feet firm, killing worms and germs, and I'm doing it on my terms.
Welcome to the Rumble. We are back and better than ever, helping you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We don't want you sucker punched, so we're here each and every week helping you keep your guard up. I am Jeremy LaBelle with Brevity Claims Consulting at Claims Coach on Instagram and TikTok, and they just call me the Mouth of the South. And alongside of me is our very, very special guest, Hall of Fame inductee, 2023 Innovative Award winner, community manager for Roofer, and the founder of the world's greatest roofer and roofing content creator with more than 400,000 followers, Mr. TJ McCormack, and we appropriately call him Mac Daddy. And the auspiciously ostentatious and the seductively splendiferous, the one, the only Baby Cakes, Miss Donna Lavelle. How's everybody doing today?
What's going on? Welcome.
Hey, man. TJ, awesome. I know that we were just talking kind of off the air just for a second there, man, and all of the things that you've got going on, it is absolutely outstanding. But before we get into all that you've got going today, now it is time for interesting facts of the day.
Fun facts with Baby Cakes.
Fun facts with Baby Cakes.
That's the new name of
that's the name of the segment. Fun facts with Baby Cakes. So here we go.
You never know.
What are our fun facts,
so,
Baby Cakes?
The first fun fact is that German chocolate cake was invented in Texas. Did you know that?
Really?
Yes. It was a guy named Sam German, and he was a Texan. He created the formula for mild dark baking chocolate for baker's chocolate. You've heard of that, right?
Wow.
Yes, I have. It doesn't taste very good.
Yeah, it's not supposed to. So in, 1957, some lady named George Clay, or Mrs. George Clay or whatever, she sent the recipe to the Dallas Morning Star, which is also a fun fact. It used to be called the Dallas Morning Star. Now it's Dallas Morning News.
Wow, okay.
So she submitted the recipe to What's Cooking America, and that's when it became famous as German chocolate cake.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad we know that German chocolate cake was invented right here in the great state of Texas.
Yes.
Not to
As a kid growing up, that's the only type of cake that I ever got to eat. That was like my favorite, and then my mom, that's all she ever made.
Yeah.
and it's the choice of most groom cakes all over the nation, believe it or not. I think that.
Wow.
So there you go. There you go, German chocolate cake. I don't know how it got that job to be the groom's cake at just about every wedding, no matter where you go to.
Guys like chocolate cake, and the women want the fancy white one.
Well, I don't know why they got to put coconut in German chocolate cake.
I know, that's a sin.
I just don't get it. Anyway,
I think that my son would like it too if it didn't have the coconut. I love the coconut.
Yeah. I have one more fact.
Well, guys, we have. Oh, you have one more fact. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I
One
have
more fact.
two
Let's do one
fun
more
facts.
fact. There we go.
Let's see. So, do you know who Marla Gibbs is?
I know the name, and as soon as you tell me who she is, I'll go, I know who she
She's
is.
Florence from the Jeffersons.
I know who she is.
Yeah.
Okay, so she continued to work as a flight attendant for 2 years after she was cast in that show.
Really?
Wow.
Just in case.
Just because she didn't want to. Yeah, there you go.
She was.
Shows get canceled.
Yeah.
Shows get
People
canceled.
get canceled.
People get canceled these days.
Yeah.
That's true.
These days, yeah.
That is so very true.
So she told that to everybody in 2015 in a Washington Post interview. Nobody else knew that until then.
Awesome.
And now you know.
Well, now I know.
And
She
knowing
works
is
as a
half the
flight
bullshit.
attendant. And she can tell me where the exits are.
Yes, they're here,
Yep.
here, and here.
They're here, and here. And if we're lost, the walkway will be illuminated.
It'll be illuminated, and
Yeah,
your
there we
seat
go.
cushion can double as a flotation device. And I would love to.
Back
see
in
that.
the 70s, they probably were like, just don't throw your cigarette butts on the ground.
While we're here for your enjoyment, we're primarily here for your safety.
They'll light the way
There you go.
to where the fire started. Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Or the fire won't be so bad if everybody's smoking
Yeah,
anyway.
if you smoke, if the plane's crashing, smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I say. Anyway, this flight just became smoking because we're crashing in a fiery ball into the planet. So Guys, we have got an incredible show today. I am really looking forward to it. It's going to be kind of all things social media, all things online, and we have appropriately titled this show The Viral Infection, but we're going to be coming to you in 3 separate rounds, and when you hear this sound, that means that the round has begun, and when you hear this sound, that means that the round is over. Now, if you hear anything funny or anything clever, it is probably neither me nor TJ. It is Baby Cakes over there twisting and tweaking, doing such a great job producing this show, and we are so thankful to have her each and every day. And I cannot wait to dig into this with TJ because round 1 starts right after this. Public adjusters, listen up. It's Jeremy Lavelle, owner of Remedy Claims Consulting, host of The Rumble, and most importantly, your claims coach. Public adjuster training is one of the hardest things to find. Sure, you can take some online seminars, you can show up to conferences, but none of them tailor training just for you until now. Whether you need to learn how to estimate, scope, negotiate, or prospect, I can help you drill down on the skills you want to develop. Maybe you're just starting out and you need to learn the claims process from A to Z, or you're just wanting help on strategy on a specific claim. I can help you find the traction you were looking for and learn how to truly control the narrative in the ever-changing world of claims. You can reach out to me directly at 888-596-8772, or you can find me on the web at remedyclaims.com and just click Get Started. That's 888-596-8772 or remedyclaims.com and click Get Started. You can even shoot me an email at jeremy@remedyclaims.com. That's JEROMY at remedyclaims.com. It's time to move your career to the next level. Round 1, building a following. Now, TJ, I'm going to be honest with you. I generally start the rounds off. I'm not going to lie to you. This is something that I most commonly, I kind of take a step out there, but I haven't built a following. So I am going to ask you, what did you do?
Yeah.
How did you, were you just the first person on Facebook? Is that how it worked or whatever? And do you differentiate platforms depending on what it is that you're wanting to do? I'll let you go.
Yeah, man. So great question. Thank you so much for having me. And, for the first round here, I don't want to get knocked out. So I'm going to do my best to kill it. So, I started on Facebook and MySpace back in the old days, just like everybody else did when MySpace came out in like 2005, 2006. And then also the Facebook and then Instagram. And then, here we are now 15 years, almost 20 years later. Wow. A couple of years ago on TikTok, TikTok was brand new. Donald Trump was the president at the time when TikTok was first coming around, and he made it really interesting for content creators that were brand new people to be able to be paid in order to go on. When you created content, YouTube for me was like a no man's land. I wasn't into creating long form content, growing a following, learning how to do all the ad stuff right at that moment. Right. So when I first started TikTok, I was finding that there was an online community of people that really enjoyed watching me. And then also whenever I would go live would just like watch my lives like they were watching the news. And so over the first several months of me being on TikTok, late 2020 into 2021, I really tapped into how people were reacting to both the content and then the live broadcasts. And then I just geared it towards those people, which if you've ever heard me talk about it, I say my following is my following and your following is your following. And people follow me because they like something out of me, and they'll follow you because they like something out of you, right? So with that being said, like I was just going in and giving them what they were needing from me, what they were wanting from me, making sure that I was communicating back. Every time somebody made a comment, every time somebody liked my post, I would go and like their post. And then over time, over the first year, I grew very rapidly from 0 to over 100,000 followers in the first year. And it was just really just diving in and just, loving people back the way that they were loving me. So after that, I've really started to do more on Facebook. You've seen I've been viral on Facebook. I've created a group that has almost 90,000 followers in that one group. And then I have, Instagram now. I've got the Twitter stuff going on, and YouTube is really working well for us right now. But I just learned how to capture that audience attention and have them push that subscribe button.
So are you finding that the short form is considerably better than the long form? Because I tend to want to get into long form. That's sort of my default because I'm a teacher. And so I don't want to explain something in 60 seconds. I want to explain something in 60 sessions. You know what I mean?
60 sessions, right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, exactly. I'll tell you this. I love long form content. I think that people should do long form content. If they've never done long form content, like do it once or twice just to see what it's about. But for me, and this is for me, short form video content is very great at I'm very great at capturing an audience with those short form videos. And then the more short form videos I create, the more that people want to either interact with me, maybe they want to buy a service that I'm promoting, or just continue to follow and be in the shadows.
Well, I mean, one of the things I'm very new at this, really and truly, even trying to have an online presence. I am incredibly new.
Sure.
I would say less than a year old. I probably started like back in the fall, really just trying to put some stuff out. And it was when I was working with Vince that I started posting some stuff, and I realized, you know what, some of the people kind of like what I have to say. But again, it was long format, and I have just now started trying to scratch at the door of this short form stuff because I'm not real good at it, and I'm not very funny on camera either. I mean, like standing around in a group of people, I'll have everybody laughing. And those of you who know me know that's true. Those of you who don't know me is like, there's no way that guy's funny, which I think is funny. But I just, the creativity that comes with a lot of this viral stuff that you've done. And I'm even like watching the Ink guys do a lot of this stuff too. Yeah. Some of this creative stuff that's really, really funny. I just don't, I feel like I don't have the patience for it. So in some ways I feel like I'm on the outside looking in, and it's not a medium for me. What would you say to the guy that's not just really good at that? And what is his benefit of engaging in these social platforms?
Finding that, let's go back to Ink for a second. I was going to start off there, but in Ink is great, man. Ryan and Ken are really killing it. I've really got an opportunity to talk to their marketers as well in the past. And they are students all day long watching other people and how they're creating content, and they're doing really cool stuff. When I was trying to figure out what people wanted from me or what I wanted to give other people was, think about it like this. If I was in sales, roofing sales or large loss sales, and I wanted to reach people at a different level, because usually there either was like somebody blocking me from talking to the decision maker, or I was getting a door slammed in my face when I was knocking on the people's door. So if I could reach people authentically while they're sitting on their couch or wherever they're at, scrolling their feed, and they like who I am as a person, they would possibly buy a service from me, or just buy by pressing that subscribe button. Now, today, looking back in hindsight, I wish I would have known what I know now, because I might have been a little bit bigger, but I'm still growing. But all of those people loved me for who I was. If you're in business right now, short form videos are busting out of they're busting every door down.
Reels are crazy. They're going crazy. It's unbelievable.
Let me give you some statistics real quick about what I've been able to do at Roofer just this past. So I started at Roofer in November as their community manager, and I didn't get the green light to start posting on their social till almost the end of December. And in the past 90 days, we've had just over 7 million views on our social channels just from short form videos. that also doesn't include when we first started on social or it wasn't that we started on social. Roofer had a decent following, right? They had 8,500 followers on social at that moment that I came to work for them. And now we're over at 27,000 followers in just 7 months. So
Wow.
it's with what I do for Roofer is I produce what I call roof porn. And I draw roofers into our platform by showing them the same thing that they always want to see, and that's roofs. They want to see more roofing content. They want to see people building or selling roofs. And then once they come to watch my content, I'll throw an ad at them every now and again, and they'll watch my ad because they're already watching my content, so they don't mind watching an ad. So,
well, you know, Donna, I get what you mean by roof porn, because one of our most popular posts was a roof with a dildo on it. That was one of our most popular. So I get the roof porn thing. It's just hard to find people having sex on a roof.
Yeah, it's the Mac Daddy of them all.
Yeah, you're right. No, I get what you're saying, because I would call it when I first got into adjusting. Now I'm a public adjuster, and that's where I kind of live and breathe, is sort of on the claims side of things. But I know that public adjusters, I know that contractors, I mean, they're all trying to differentiate themselves. And what an incredible way to differentiate yourself, but with your personality. Yeah. That is the way that you kind of tell your story without having to go, I was born a poor white child. You know what I mean?
You mean I'm going to spray this color?
You get to tell your story and people feel like they know you. And now, you know, so as we're building a following, if I'm at square one, what would you say, dude? Do I pick a platform? Do I hit all of the platforms? What do we do there?
Yeah, let's talk about some politics real quick, and then we'll go into what platform. Right now, there's some stuff going on with TikTok that everybody's aware of, right? Sure. The government's trying to shut TikTok down. Respectfully, I think that it's all to do with China owning it. There's some people scared about whether or not their data is being sold to China, but your data has already been sold to China prior to TikTok. But with that being said, if I had to go all in on a platform right now, I would choose YouTube. YouTube Shorts are really, really growing people fast right now, and you can get monetized very quickly if you can figure out how to engage with other people or to get them to follow you. Where you're able to do the live broadcast, you're still able to do the reels, you can do the long form video, you can do everything that you can do on all the other platforms, but YouTube pays the best. And I'm looking forward to possibly getting Roofer monetized on YouTube very shortly. I have about 3 more million views I need to get to capture. But if you're out there just getting ready to start and you're trying to figure out which one is the best one for you, I'd go with YouTube.
Dive into YouTube. Okay, so that's interesting, because now this may be a very geriatric perspective. Okay, so I want to be clear about that, because I am not all things social media.
Sure.
But that is the one I don't feel like that, and I could be wrong, and that's why I'm saying this, and I'm prepared for that, is that it feels like that possibly our audience, whether it's roofers, public adjusters, they seem to dwell and live on Facebook for the most part, and getting people over to YouTube, because our primary focus really and truly for the Pain of the Claim Presents is YouTube. That is where we started. That's where we live. And then it grows out of that. And so that is kind of the interesting thing, because it's not so post friendly. It's more video friendly, as opposed to, let me put up this fun. Like, I was looking at this picture I just showed Donna. I posted it on my Facebook. It's this floating tent. It's like, it's a tent that sleeps floor and it floats on the water, and it introduces you to a whole new way to die while camping. So
everybody sleeps with a life jacket on, huh?
Right. Yeah. So, it feels very Facebook driven. It just feels like the world is more given to Facebook rather than YouTube. So what say you there? Help talk me off the ledge on that one.
Facebook's been around for a long time. Facebook is trying to figure out how to stay relevant in the marketplace. As you may have seen, they have this new thing that they just started the past few days called Threads, right? Over 30 million people joined Threads in the first few days. When I went on Thread for the first time this morning, it felt like I was back at MySpace again. But really, Meta's been trying to capture the audience that TikTok and then also YouTube Shorts are doing right now. Not saying that Facebook is a bad platform. It's truly a great platform. But for if you're trying to reach a broader audience, there's more people on YouTube, right? So YouTube also here's a statistic. What do you think the number one platform for children under age 15 is for search?
I would assume that it would be YouTube is what I would assume, but I can't say for sure because there's so much restriction when it comes to Facebook, especially from a parental guidance standpoint.
Right.
You know, Facebook is a scary place because of predators. I would just assume that YouTube would have less predators, and so that's why I would think that. That's how I got there.
You know, TikTok is the number one platform for search under age 15.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's a real statement. But YouTube, you know, we handed our kids a tablet. Like I have 4 kids, right? And I've been handing them a tablet with YouTube for years. But my kids, whenever I go upstairs to watch what they're doing or see what they're doing, they're on YouTube Shorts. And I'm like, because I don't let them play on TikTok. But for them, it's the Shorts. So if we're to choose what we're doing or where the people will be buying from in the future, I think that we're going to be faced with kids that have a short attention span and want to buy from somebody that just gave them a quick 30-second commercial of something that everybody's doing now.
So you think if you're starting out, YouTube is where you should focus,
Yeah.
but for kids under 15, the TikTok seems to be the thing that most of them are looking at. So guys, you heard it here. If you're trying to build something, open up YouTube and work from there. Let YouTube be on your hub. That's great information, TJ. I mean, and I'm kind of glad we stumbled and did the right thing there, baby cakes. You know, I mean, I like YouTube personally. I enjoy it. It makes sense, but it seems very difficult to get followers. And we're going to talk about that real soon because that's the end of round 1. Guys, that was super fast. I cannot believe it is already over. And the next round is going to be just as interesting as we get into it because round 2 starts right after this.
One of the most difficult claims you can work is a contents claim. It requires extreme detail and significant documentation. Ricky McGregor with Monarch Claim Services is the expert you need on your side. She will handle on-site evaluation, inventory, photo documentation, pricing, and overall contents claim organization. She will work with your team beginning to end so you can focus on the rest of the claim. Do your client a favor and call Ricky McGregor with Monarch Claim Services. You can reach her at 515-783-1434. That's 515-783-1434 or find her on the web at monarchclaimservices.com.
Round 2, maintaining a following. Okay, so I've got 11 people, and what I don't want to happen is to have 10. I want to maintain the 11 to 35 that I have. And let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
I know the growth organically is difficult. Everybody says that. Everybody knows that consistency is what matters. I mean, that's the first thing is like, how do I grow a follow? Well, it's consistency. Okay, so we know consistency. That's in our hip pocket. You know, what comes after consistency? How do we maintain that following? How do we, kind of continue to add? What is something that you should expect over time as far as growing this stuff organically?
Let me tell you something, man. I made a mistake. I'm glad that we're doing this topic because I have made the mistake and I've lost at one point in social media, I lost 30,000 followers, and it was from doing something wrong. But in the very beginning, what you're talking about right now, creating consistency in the brand or into the social platform, right, where you're posting anywhere from 4 to 6 times a day. You're giving people an opportunity to like your content 4 to 6 times a day. And what's different about, where I'm going with social media, with TikTok or YouTube, or even Instagram and Facebook Reels right now, is that just over a year ago, the only place that you could go to get people to watch your content more than what was just going on your friends' feed was TikTok. I mean, YouTube also would show it to other people when they would search for a certain keyword or a phrase, and then they would show it to you then, right? But with TikTok created the FYP, or the For You page, right? And that gave you an opportunity to reach potentially billions of people, or over 1 billion people on just TikTok. Now with Reels and Shorts, they're doing the same thing. So if you're creating that content 4 to 6 times a day, it's possible that one person that might have seen one of those videos might not see the other 5 videos, but those 5 videos are attracting a certain demographic. Now, when I started, I couldn't just make roofing content and have people watch me create roofing content. That wasn't my niche. My niche was variety content, which was just basically anything that was going on in my life at that time that I would put on camera. So like when I started to do things differently, back off of the consistency, I changed something in my life. I got a girlfriend. And just as soon as that happened, man, like people just started running for the hills. And it was me changing, what I had been doing all along, thinking that I was going to be doing something better. And then I actually just lost followers.
Wow. So
Yeah.
how did you figure out that that's what that was? Did you just go back to doing what you were doing before? Or because I think some of the stuff with your girlfriend's hysterical. So
Yeah, now it is. Yeah, now 2.5 years, not 2.5 years, 2 years ago or so, when I introduced Karina to the world as my girlfriend, I had to figure out that, one, I was being selfish with the fact that, oh my God, I'm losing followers. And then Karina's like, well, wait, if they're not gonna follow you because of me, what does that say to you about me, right? So she was like, do you love me? Do you support me? Are you gonna be behind me? And I was like, yes, that's absolutely what I'm gonna do. She's like, well, then those 30,000 women or other people that left your following because of me weren't your followers. They had a dream, or they were thinking of you in a different way, and then now that you're not who they want you to be, they're gonna move along. And that's okay. I've ended up growing back to now over 300,000 followers on TikTok. At that point, I think I was at like 175,000. But then, as I've grown on social media, new things have come up. Like, for example, we were talking before the show, like Hurricane Ian, right? During Hurricane Ian, I gained 35,000 followers in one day, just because of me posting videos of being in the hurricane, and then also being on live broadcast during the hurricane, where people from all over the world were watching Matt Mulholland and I chase Hurricane Ian.
So let me ask you this. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to use myself as an example here, and I'm a noob, right? I've got 2 different types of content that I post. I post like public adjuster content, like, hey, like I'll do a promo for this, and I don't know if you've seen any of the stuff that I've posted. Like I did one with TJ Ware recently.
Yeah, I did see that.
So I do that kind of stuff, and then I'm also kind of on my own little journey to fight and defeat procrastination, and I'm putting that stuff out there too. So it's not necessarily, should I have different channels, different platforms? Should I just have my own platform? What do you think? Because none of that's funny. Some of it's engaging, but it's not funny. It's not entertaining, so to speak. It's just informative kind of deal. So
the algorithm shows your content to people who are like-minded to like, say you make a content on procrastination, like the algorithm's going to know what that content is, or who it's trying to reach, and they're going to show it to just those few people. So make sure that if you are creating content, that you're creating it on a broad scale instead, because sometimes those niches will get shut down by an algorithm, especially if there's no more people to show it to. So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I'm just trying to understand kind of what you're driving at there. I mean, so you're saying I need to do content that's not necessarily subject related, but more consumable, kind of, this is my sweaty face when I'm mowing the lawn kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Something that relates to everybody. The way that I explain it is like sometimes when we start a following, right? Like maybe if I started a following today or I started a social channel today, and I talked about white wine. Every day I talk about white wine, and a lot of people love that content. And then all of a sudden, a couple months from now, I decided I don't like white wine anymore, and now I like red wine. And so now I have all of these followers that used to like my content for white wine. And now that I've switched to red wine, either they're going to be like mad that I switched to red wine, or they're going to also jump on board. But now I have a new following of people that like red wine. So now it's just more than white and red wine. It's wine consumers. So now I'm reaching a broader base.
Well, I mean, I only can create what I can think to create, right? You know what I mean? It's the stuff that matters to me. And again, I'm more driven to be informative than I am to just open the doors of my life and let people come in, you know, and I commend, like, Donna is like really good about it. Like, she does all kinds of really funny stuff, and she peruses and consumes social media so much more than I do. But I want to ask Donna a quick question. It's like, what do you think, somebody that's on it, are you having a harder time building a following? What sort of response are you getting as you're even doing like your melancholy your melancholy posts and channels and feeds? I mean, where are you finding the success in that kind of stuff?
I think it depends on my hashtags.
Okay.
For each video, because I'll reach a different audience when I'm doing something a little bit different. I'll put, kind of hashtag whatever it is I'm doing, but then I'll hashtag the other people that have already been listening to me or watching me. So I think that's my difference.
Are hashtags huge, TJ? Is that kind of where you're wanting to find your audience?
Yeah. So what I teach about hashtags, and usually the first 5 hashtags are the most important, right? And those are typically things that are involved in the video, and those are the people that are going to be reached. Now, I'll also add, for example, roofer, roofing contractor, roofer, like regular roofer. But those are the reasons that I do that, is because when people search for those channels, my videos will also pop up there. So I'm giving the SEO to the video in the beginning, and then I'm also in the back end for search, for later search.
Let me ask you about this in videos. How important is editing? How important, when you're creating those shorts, how important is that editing effort?
Yeah, I edit very quickly now on shorts, but there are some times where I'll create a longer form video that might take, 15, 20 minutes, maybe even longer, depending on how creative I want to be. But editing the hook, the body, and the closing is really important, because you only have really 7 seconds to capture somebody's attention. Actually, less than that now. I think it's like 4.5 seconds to capture the people's attention in the beginning. So if you don't get that hook right away and get them interested in that video, they're not going to watch through the body, and they're not going to watch to the closing. Now, typically people only watch my entire videos about 60% of the time, and I still have over 300 million people who've watched my videos. So that says something, that even though I'm doing very well and I get millions of views and I get, interactions from all over the world, it's still only 60% of the time people are watching the video all the way through.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you, so when people engage, with 400,000 followers or 300,000 followers, or, you clearly can't talk to everybody. That's why we're so honored you're here just talking to us right now. We're very happy to have you. So how do you not disappoint the fans or the followers or whatever the case may be?
Yeah. You know what? I'm on my phone a lot. A lot, meaning sometimes 18 to 20 hours a day. And, I try, so maybe you've seen recently on Facebook, I've been growing very rapidly on Facebook recently with the way that I've been, creating content that people engage with. Now, there's still to this day where I'll still have to go in and I'll still have to make comments back to almost everybody that makes a comment on a post. And the reason that is because if I don't interact back with those people, they're going to lose interest in me, or they're going to think that maybe I don't, I don't support them, or I don't like who they are, or they come up with some other reason in their head to hate me. Right. But really, it's, if I don't do the things that I need to do to maintain the following, then I'm going to lose them too. So you do need to do everything in your power to make sure that you're reaching out to people that are commenting right now, especially if you're building it from the ground up right now. Comment back to every single person. If those people feel like that you actually like them and are interested in them, instead of liking or commenting on that one video, they're going to comment on the next 5 as well. So keep going, keep commenting back. And then here's what I'll say about messaging. Most of the time, if it's TikTok or YouTube, I do not respond to the messages. And the reason I do that is because I don't know who those people are most of the time. But then, for example, Facebook, like there are times where people will message me and they'll want to have 2-hour long conversations. And I just have to cut it short and say, hey, we have to schedule something in. Or if it's just not something that I can be involved in, I'll just let them know.
Yeah, makes sense. Did you have something?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you get people to comment? Nobody ever comments on anything. And
Really?
I'll even ask them. I'll be like, please comment.
Yeah. So, great question. Getting people to engage is the hardest, right? Like, commenting, sharing, favoriting, reposting, whatever the case may be. A lot of times, what I would do is I would go to other people's content and I would comment on their posts. And then once they'd see I'd comment, they'd comment back, and then we would create some sort of relationship or online relationship. And then once I started doing that, they started going to mine and doing the same thing.
Okay, that's good.
Well, I mean, I spend a bunch of time. I'm really on just a couple of different forums because I am not a social media consumer by and large. I'm a consumer. I'm not an engager. That is probably the better way to do it. I lurk, I read, I laugh, I criticize, all in my own head, and I move on. And I don't really engage with different people. I'm very careful on social media by and large. I use that phrase. By and large, I am very careful on social media. In fact, when my kids were growing up, I had one rule: you don't go negative on social media ever, ever. Do not go. And I'm talking like my daughter one time posted on her page that she hates Mondays. Yeah, and a teacher saw her Twitter feed. Now this is Twitter. Saw her Twitter feed, said I hate Mondays. Internalized that, took it personally, and accused her of bullying.
Oh my gosh.
A teacher.
Because her class was on Mondays.
Well, I mean, because her class, she had block scheduling, her class was on Monday. It's a true story. That is absolutely true. And I said, I told you, don't go negative on social media ever. And that has always sort of been my rule. I don't get in there and criticize. I try to be as soft. I will constructively criticize. I will redirect. I will try to offer something. But I have found some of the most engageable content happens to be the polarizing stuff. Yeah. And so what do you say about that? I mean, do you at any level try to be polarizing, or do you just try to be Santa Claus all the way through?
Yes and no. I'll give you what I teach. And what I teach is like, hey, look, stay out of the divisiveness of politics in the world today, right? You can get yourself in some really big trouble by inserting your foot into your mouth when you didn't mean to, or maybe you did mean to, but people will, like what we said, cancel you or try to cancel you for getting involved in something with a following as large as mine. Something that I can't do is I can't get involved in politics with gender orientation, sexual orientation, homosexuality, those things. I can't get involved with anything regarding religion because if half of my following is for it and half of my following is against it, I'm still putting people against each other.
Sure.
But Roofer has we have a policy of not attacking other people and always being friendly, and that's worked very well for us as a corporation. Now, me as a human being, I am very outspoken. I was a police officer for 14 years of my life. And there are things that I just see sometimes that people do. Like there's some stuff going on in the roofing industry right now that I'm just absolutely appalled by. I'm not going to go into exactly what it is that I've seen. I'm sure that everybody at home that might be watching this, or even you guys, and understand and seen it these past few days and these past few weeks. It's not okay to bring people down or try to tear people down. And then to cause people to be divisive amongst an industry.
Sure.
We have to be positive and we have to bring this industry up, or else our consumers will never buy from us and they're never going to trust us.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
That is so true. I'm obviously I'm not going to call out any names here,
Yeah.
but it always seems like it's that silent. Well, not silent, not at all silent. It's that minority that can be very, very loud and very, very annoying and very, very divisive, and they're always trying to get a rise out of somebody in some kind of way. Before I wrap this round, I have just one last question. Can you give us some of the apps possibly that you use for editing and how you can kind of dress up your videos a little bit?
Yeah. So I only use, I use the applications editing tools themselves sometimes, or if I'm trying to create content that goes on all of the platform, the only editing tool that I use is CapCut.
CapCut. Okay.
Yeah, CapCut is owned by TikTok and ByteDance, but it's the best editing tool I've ever used.
Okay.
Can I insert something just really quick?
Go right ahead.
You said that minority. You meant the minority.
The minority.
The minority.
I said the minority.
Oh, okay. Whatever.
Just clarifying that.
It's just you've always got somebody that, like, I'm just going to give you an example. As we wrap this round up, because it's important to me, and it's something that I'm not afraid to be polarizing here. But when we first started our public adjuster business, we were trying to build out our system. And one of the things that we needed was a list of carriers, contact phone numbers, generic email addresses, claims at State Farm Claims or whatever, that kind of stuff. And so Donna went onto a page that will remain nameless and asked the question. And she got responses like, well, I got my list from 30 years in the business. You know what I mean? And,
right.
Why are you even doing this if you don't have this already?
Yeah, if you don't have this, why are you even in this business? That kind of vitriol, if you will. Yeah. And I mean, that just disgusts me to the core. Yep. And especially
those type of people you can never please.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to find fault in anything. But I mean, because the Pain of the Claim has a page on Facebook that you should go join and engage on, because guys, we're there to answer questions. That is really the reason that we created it. And Donna also put some really funny stuff on there. So it's quite entertaining, and it's there for you to ask your questions. And I realize
please engage.
There's a ton of forums out there that you can go ask the same question on, but please, you might get a collective of answers that really help you drill down on what you want to do from a strategic standpoint. Whether you're a contractor or a public adjuster, an independent adjuster, a homeowner, whatever the case may be, I would avail myself of all resources.
It's absolutely safe there.
It is.
I have zero tolerance.
I will boot you off if you say I hate Mondays. You know what I mean? It's those kinds of,
I just don't want people to be afraid to ask a question.
Right. No matter how,
we all had the same question at some point.
No matter how rudimentary you may think it is, it's not rudimentary to the guy that doesn't have the information. We can't know anything unless we've been taught. And there's a statistic out there that is a high percentage number of most of the stuff that and I don't want to put a percentage number on it, but a vast majority of the stuff is just something somebody told you once.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
and it's crazy. Well, guys, we're going to get into a little bit more of this social media and round 3 and how we use this influence. And round 3 starts right after this. When choosing someone to help with your online marketing, make sure you go with someone that has years of experience. Our good friend Sally at Thrive has over 20 years of digital marketing experience. She can build you a beautiful 15-page, sleek, interactive website, post on your social media platforms multiple times a week. She can do a video, an amazing CRM to manage and maintain and nurture your clients' text, email marketing, review generation, a business listing on 60+ search engines, including 3 voice networks, appointment scheduling, estimates, invoices, payment processing, and more. She will also create for you on Google, a Facebook page, in Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you need these for your businesses, she'll help you create those pages on all of those sites. If you already have these pages, she'll optimize them for you as well. Call or message Sally today. If you want to get started, you can reach her at 214-789-1651. Again, her name is Sally Brigance. Her number is 214-789-1651. And you'll also get a landing page the day you sign up. When you send her a referral that signs up with her, she'll credit your billing account. Logos are also available. And she also offers a lead generation service and SEO, search engine optimization, where she can guarantee you to appear on the first page of Google or your money back. It is spelled THRYB. And you can find my good friend Sally Brigance, and that's spelled SALLIE. Brigance, BRIGANCE, and she can be reached once again at 214-789-1651. Round 3, how and when to use your influence. So again, I defer to you because I don't have a ton of it. You know, I am trying. I mean, one of my giftings is an influencer. I took the culture index, and one of my top giftings is an influencer, which is the reason I have leaned into this. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that I feel like it matters. I love the idea of having influence. You know what I mean? And I don't know if everybody loves that idea. I personally do. So how do we manage that superpower, if you will? Influence is like a superpower.
Let's talk about something that, you know what, we can talk about there's going to be a lot, right? We'll talk about anxiety. We'll talk about depression. We'll talk about happiness. We're going to talk about all of that in this round because truly, I never once in my life, 2.5 years ago, 2 years, 7 months ago, would have thought that I would have any type of influence at this type of level, right? I never had taken any classes on influencing. I still to this day haven't. And I've learned all of the good things, all of the bad things, all of the things that we take to heart, or maybe we don't take enough heart to. So, you know, recently, I posted a video. It's currently going viral right now. I think it's at 900,000 views on TikTok. And I was trying to use my influence, to show people that there was a guy on an airplane that was sitting next to me who overdosed on pills. Right. And, during this time that I'm on the airplane, we were told that we weren't allowed to get close to the man. We weren't allowed to help him, right, unless we were a doctor or paramedic or something. But one of the things that struck out to me was the fact that the airlines don't carry Narcan on an airplane.
Wow.
And
really?
So for me, sitting there as an influencer, I'm thinking to myself, you know, excuse my language, what the fuck is going on around here that we can't have a $20 bottle that can save somebody's life while we're in the air? That we squeeze into this guy's nose and then he's okay. And then he comes out of it and we don't have to land this plane right in a second. Right. But I used it in that manner, showing the video of the guy, you know, absolutely. He wasn't going crazy per se, but he was in his own world. And then he passes out onto the seat. And then by the time that the plane, we get him off the plane, he's purple, not breathing. And I attempted to use my influence in that way, and I'm still trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there have been other things like I made videos during COVID in reference to getting the shot, right? And millions of people watched those videos, and they saw the influence that I was having. But there was so much negative connotation, again, from both sides, maintaining the following, but also making everybody happy on both sides. And I've tried to use the influence for the best right now. Currently, with me going out with Rise of the Roofer Road show and being the host of that show, the way that we've built the curriculum, that's the type of influence that I want people to see, right? Other leaders getting an opportunity to present themselves to the world, to show them what they're made of. Now, in regards to social media and being a leader on social media or an influencer there, like, again, you have to be careful of what's divisive and what's not, and what people see on video versus what's really happening.
Sure.
It's so different. Like, me having a great meaning or wanting to do something good for the world, people still see it as something totally different.
Well, that's I'm gonna dive back into my history a little bit.
Yeah.
In a former life, I was involved heavily in extreme sports.
Yeah.
And this is basically at the dawning of social media, and actually a little bit before, because it was right about MySpace time is where, because everybody had a MySpace at this point in time. And I think my Facebook, I joined Facebook in 2009. And so Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing. And I have always been open to social media, obviously, because I found it really interesting as a platform, because I'm sitting here essentially doing a radio show. Now, I'm going to tell you that there is not a single radio station in this city, in Dallas, Fort Worth Metroplex of 6 million plus people, that are going to call me up and go, "Hey, Jeremy, why don't you come do an insurance radio show?" But it gives me this platform to broadcast it. And you know what? People listen to it. People actually take some time and listen to it. Now, I'm not, and there's if you look at the number of people that listen to my show, will tell you why radio stations are not calling me up and asking me to do a show. There's a reason I don't do daily show. But back in a former life, I was very involved in extreme sports, and I had a skate shop, wakeboard shop. We sold the apparel like Hurley and Quicksilver and Roxy and that kind of thing. And I was very involved in my church. I was the youth pastor at my church at that point in time. And I had a lady walk through the door and goes, and we're just playing XM radio, Sirius XM radio over the speakers or whatever. And she walked in and she didn't look at a thing. It wasn't like she looked at a t-shirt or went over to the shoes and looked at all of the different things that we had. She walked in, opened the door, beeline to the counter that I'm standing behind, walks up and goes, "I thought this was a Christian store." I was like, well, it's a skate shop, so we don't sell Bibles or anything, but I'm the youth pastor at this church. And she goes, "Well, why are you playing rock music if this is a Christian store?" And I'm like, I realized at that point in time, in the words of Taylor Swift, haters are going to hate, and there's no way to please everybody. And to be honest with you, that's not somebody that I really am trying to influence, although I hope I do at some point in time, that they realize that their morals can't be put on everybody else. Their opinions and their thoughts are not always going to be subscribed to by everybody. And I think that it's hard when we try to differentiate. And that's why I'm so careful about what I put out online, because I don't want it to be over polarizing. And the thing that I tell Don all the time is like, I just don't think anybody would care.
And they do.
But they do, look, I have been proven wrong time and time again. I put a video up last night that the closest thing that I've ever seen to viral, it was at 100 views, and then an hour later it was at 500 views. Now I know that's a nothing burger compared to what you put out there. I mean, before you're done posting it, 500 people have looked at it, but I could not believe how quickly it went up, and my Facebook following has exploded over the past 6 months, I would say. I'm very interested in it, but I want to use my forces for good and not for evil.
Yeah.
And I'm more education driven, and that's what I want to spend. That's what my runway looks like. As I ride off into the sunset, I want to do it training contractors and adjusters and restoring the power back to the contractors and helping them understand how this insurance process works. And the difference between when a carrier wants to make a coverage decision versus a business decision, and and how we combat that and work with those kinds of things. But knowing what is good and what is not good to post and what your influence is, that's got to be a huge weight of anxiety that rests on your shoulders. And how do you manage that?
I'm rethinking one of mine.
I've not been well recently. I don't know if maybe Donna or maybe you've seen.
She mentioned something, but that's not why I brought this up. I wasn't
trying
to.
No, I wanted to go into this a little bit because I want to talk about it out loud because anxiety, depression, panic attacks can even happen to the happiest of people, the people bringing the most positivity to the world. Like you said, the weight of the world is on your shoulders when you have so many people looking up to you. Not saying that the anxiety that I've been feeling recently is from that, but it's a huge part of it. One is that I probably don't get enough rest and put my phone down enough to separate myself from that world. But I feel like a huge responsibility on the other side is that I let people down if I don't keep creating the content that they love from me, and also still creating content, like you said, that could be divisive or could break us up as a human race or even like as an industry. It weighs on me heavily because the whole reason I created World's Greatest Roofer was because there wasn't anybody out there really promoting a positive image of what a roofer really was. There's a lot of people out there showing people dancing around on roofs, maybe doing drugs, fighting, showing disdain between each other. But there was nobody out there actually saying, hey, come on, guys, let's come together. Roofers aren't really as bad as what you've been told. And still today, like I face it every day when I have to make a decision of whether or not what I'm going to say, a comment on a post, maybe if somebody comments on my post and what I say back to them, like, I say this, like when I got to 200,000 followers, I stopped caring what other people said. Right. But that's not true really. In the grand scheme of things, I care about what people say. Yeah.
Right.
But if it's one person that's never met me, that's never watched my content before, and they're trying to judge me off of that one piece of content, that's what I meant by that. But as a whole, as an influencer type or public figure, like I think about it on a grand scale all the time. Like you can say one wrong thing and be canceled tomorrow, or you can say one right thing and you can have millions of people watching you tomorrow. So
sure. So I mean,
yeah.
On the question, and this is going to come off loaded, and I certainly don't mean for it to be a loaded question because it's not. It is. I know that a lot of people want you to either mention them, or tag them or something like that to help boost their following, endorse them, if you will. Right. How do you manage those sorts of requests and that sort of effort when you get when somebody asks for it?
Yeah, like nowadays, if we're friends or if we're working together on something, like I do it automatically, right? Like it's like I don't ask for money from people any longer to promote their businesses if it's something that I believe in. If it's not something that I believe in, we're gonna, we'll have a conversation about why I don't. Excuse me. But most of the time, if somebody's like, "Hey, could you mention us?" I'll be glad to. But it's the people that I don't, like I said, that I don't either don't know enough about their business, or I don't know enough about them, or maybe I've heard some things that might be wrong with those people, is when I question whether or not I should do it. Yeah.
Do you remember what you said when I asked you if you would post the link to one of our episodes?
I'm not. I don't know what I said. Do you remember what I said?
Yeah, you said I don't know you, and I have a lot of followers. Obviously, I want to be careful what I post.
Yeah.
Which I think is
No,
completely
exactly.
fair.
That's exactly what I said. I'm not rude to people. I want to make sure that people know, like, that I want to get to know them first, and
Yeah.
to work together with them, because, like, if you post something that might not be great tomorrow, then I might get, somebody might say something to me, or they might put me together with you. And I always just am really, worried about who I'm helping, and how it's being perceived.
Yeah.
Well, we're very honored to have you on this
Yes.
show.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. I'm so glad you're
Well,
here.
I hope
we've
you
had
got
an
to know me.
opportunity to get to know each other, Donna. We've had more messages
Yeah.
than that since
Yeah.
and I've also had an opportunity to see the type of people that you're having on your show, and that's where it's different now. It's like, sometimes I might not see you yet, but once I see you and you're on my radar, that's a different story.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you just this one last question in a little bit of time that we have left. What do you do about hacking? Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Is there something that you do to prevent that? Because with 400,000 followers, I mean, it's not hard. I mean, I'm assuming that there's, TJ official or some people that try to clone your account or whatever the case may be. I'm probably using all of the wrong words and all of the wrong terms.
It's all of those have happened. Yeah. So
What do you do to combat that?
So, well, for one, I go through GoDaddy for my websites and all of those things. And I have like the $150 a week package for security on websites and things like that. Right. But for my phone, I definitely don't let too many people hold on to my phone. But also my email addresses, or anything where a second or third party authentication can happen, because I'm scared somebody's going to get in there and try to delete my account. Right? That's the biggest scare that I have, is that somebody gets a hold of my account and deletes it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Is there, so it's just vigilance is what you're telling me? It's just straight up vigilance and paying attention and watching it. So hypervigilance.
I've had clones. I've had people try to reproduce me on social media. I've had people actually create email addresses that were similar to mine. When I would have TJ at worldsgreatestroofer.com, right? And I actually had people go in and create TJ at worldsgreatestroofer.com, but switch a letter around. And then email on my behalf instead of me, or try to accept money from people, and say, hey, you need to send the money here instead of here. Like that's happened. So and the FBI was involved, like stalkers. There's people all over the world that have, like, I get a notification about fraud at least once a week, twice a week.
Wow.
He doesn't know I'm a stalker.
So as attractive as it sounds to have as many followers as you do, man, it must come with a lot of pressure, and not just pressure, but responsibility and hypervigilance to maintain those sorts of things. Golly, that is incredible. With
We
more
learned a lot today.
Yeah, I mean, that we put in a lot, and so I'm going to do. And that'll close out round 3. I cannot. It was like drinking out of a fire hydrant with you, TJ. I can't tell you how awesome it has been to have you on the show. Do you have any final thoughts or anything like that you'd like to share with the rest of us?
You know what? We have a couple more events that, if you don't mind me doing a quick plug.
No, plug away. All the plugs that you want to plug. I've got like the huge power, like the huge power strip, so you can plug as much as you want to plug. Go right ahead.
I just want to say this episode's coming out on the 26th. So
26.
coming out.
Okay, so it'll be Roofer Roofer as a company, we've been putting on this event across the country. We have a couple more shows. By the time this comes out, we'll be past those 2 shows, but we're going to put on 4 more in the fall. And the whole premise behind it is for sales, marketing leaders to learn from industry leaders in their region, and not just people that are always on a stage across the country somewhere. I really wanted to make sure that we're showcasing people that are doing something great for their community or something great for their company or their employees, for other people to see and put that on display versus the same people, like I just said, that are constantly talking. Now, to get to my final thought is, like we were talking about earlier, you have a responsibility when you're on social media to make sure that people are receiving a positive message from you, and if it's in regards to your industry work that you're doing. So if you're out there doing other things, or you're making disdain, or you're making a fight between other people, you're not promoting positivity amongst one another, and you're definitely not bridging the gap or building that bridge between people to stop the competitive nature of this industry and bringing people together as a whole.
Man, rewind and listen to that again. I don't say that often, but rewind and listen to that again. I have never heard a more significant charge given to the masses. And I hope a lot of people listen to this episode, because there's so much more than how to in this episode. There is just a ton of morality kind of behind what it is that you do. A lot of moral imperative that comes in, and how you approach this, and the weight and the responsibility that comes with it. On that event that you're doing some in the fall. What is the name of the event? How do we sign up for it? Who's it for? That kind of thing. If you can plug some more, that'd be great.
Public adjusters, roofer. I mean, mostly for roofing companies, but I support the public adjusting world pretty strong. I run the Public Insurance Adjuster Forum, and I also work together with public adjusters out there. But truly, we're out there trying to bring people together from our industry, from all aspects. You can go to roofer.com/rise, and it's roofer, ROOFR.com/rise, RISE. And you'll be able to see the new stops that we come up with. We haven't announced the 4 new cities that we're going to go to just yet, but we're working on that. You know what? It doesn't matter if it's a supplier, a technology company, if it's a roofer. We want to talk with you. We want to meet you. We want to shake your hand and be a friend with you guys as well. So come out. It's only $25. The reason we chose $25 is we just wanted to make sure you're going to show up, because we give you some of the best food that you're going to eat probably all week. And that's some of the comments that we've gotten, is we put on an amazing event, and the networking is incredible.
Have you been to Dallas already?
We haven't been to Dallas. We just left Houston a couple weeks ago.
Well, Dallas is like the roofing capital of the world, man. Come on.
You gotta come here. I think that we're considering Dallas, and then also there's a spot in New Jersey, and then maybe a couple of others.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you keep us posted on that, let us know. We're going to go ahead and put that roofer.com, ROOFR.com/rise. That's going to be down in the comments, so that you can go ahead and click on that. Keep your eyes peeled for the new locations that are going to be coming out once this episode is published. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. TJ, thank you again. And we will be back next week. But in the meantime, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And we will see you on the next one.
Got my hand on the hammer, ready to ram you like the fire slammer jammer. Yes, we're coming up, don't even try to diminish it. I won't start it, but I damn sure will finish it.